everybody, it's Live with Dr. Ken, and I'm here just myself in my office talking about communication today. And it's what a lovely day. I always say that when it rains and when it pours and it's scary weather. I'm saying, what a lovely day. God made this day. I know it's corny, and I'm just going to say it anyway because it's true. Another day of life and living, and communication is such a challenge and such an incredible reward if you work on it. I've been working on it, well, all my life, but I've been working the last 20 years as we've been running Visible Music College here in Memphis, and over 1,000 students coming through here just being trained in music and production and ministry and business. What we're really doing is training people in communication. And it's something that you need to think about strongly. If you're an artist, if you're a producer, and definitely if you're a manager, obviously a minister, people who are pastorally over others, you have to be working on your communication. Be open to some change in how you communicate. Ask for feedback. So I'm going to give you 3 pointers on communication, and that is the first one is to ask for feedback. So we all already communicate. If you are in a relationship with, married, or you have a boyfriend, girlfriend, you already get information back, feedback on your communication daily. A lot of funny stories can happen in that. Often your children, if you're starting to have young children, your children will start communicating like you do. And they will also question how you're communicating, so you get a lot of feedback that way. What I'm saying right now is just make a practice of asking someone to evaluate how you're coming across. If you're an artist, you definitely need that feedback, video feedback, all those kind of things. But if you're a producer, you may be sort of squirreling away in the tech world. You may not be communicating as well with others. Ask somebody to evaluate you. It's part of that sort of self-evaluation thing, that it should not be cumbersome and oppressive on you, but it should be something that you welcome. Is, how did my email sound when I sent that out to the vendor? How did my pitch on radio sound today? How did I respond to that pastor who had a problem with my show or something? Give me some feedback on some words that you hear that I say that aren't quite as clear, or they're kind of challenging, or they're old. It's like, that's not the way people say it. Just be, if you're willing to be in front of people, which in ministry you got to be. If you're willing to be out there, you need to be willing to change some piece of that and be ready to self-evaluate and let others talk to you about your communication. Okay, so ask. Second, I want you to plan. So this is another big downfall of artists, creative people, myself, people who are around me, planning your communication. Often you will be in a situation where you got invited to do something, but you didn't ask exactly what they were wanting you to do, and you find out when you get there, I'm supposed to talk for 5 minutes. I didn't plan what to say for 5 minutes, so I'm going to talk about whatever story is fresh in your head. You've done this on stage. Even on Sunday morning, I've seen people be like, God was telling me this week that okay, well, God might be telling you some scriptures, but if you were planned, you would have it connect to the scripture of the day. You would have it be fresh in the moment. You would have it connect to what the church is doing if you planned your communication better. So even a little bit with, hey, I need a feedback with the band how this thing is going to go next week. I don't want to tell them in the van. They might want to bring different pedals to the show if they hear a different thing. Or, I'm just saying generally as an artist and as a manager, producer, plan your communication a little better. I've seen a lot of people talk about that didn't really go very well. That session was, not as good as it could be. And I've heard, hey, bad reviews of whatever, working with somebody. Honestly, it was about 10 minutes of planning their communication that could have fixed it. And so you have that opportunity right now. Think ahead to this weekend, or, the next tour, the next show, the next band practice. Hey, I'm going to bring this up early in the practice so we can work on it, or I'm going to bring it up when we're all feeling good afterwards, like, hey, let's communicate a little bit more about our practice times or something. Bring up the hard stuff when people are ready for it. Plan a little bit what you're going to say. Bless people as you say it. That's an extra little tip. As you're planning your communication, put some good stuff in there. Okay, that's, it's hard to say the hard stuff, so let's plan it a little bit. Put some good, the compliment sandwich they used to say. You say something good about somebody, here's the challenge, there's a compliment. It actually kind of does work as long as you're not super obvious that you're doing that. But so ask for feedback, plan your communication, and let me tell you that the way you end your communication is almost as important as how you plan and start your communication. So in your planning, and even as you're wrapping up a conversation, think about the end of the conversation. Think about, how do I wrap up? I do this when public speaking, when speaking from stage. You commonly think, okay, I'll tell that story during that break, or I'll share this thing on this radio interview, or with this pastor, I'm going to share this story. Well, you often never plan how to end the communication. So that's why you don't ... or that's why I wrote this song, or that's why, finish the communication. Have a planned end to your communication. It's commonly missed. And so sometimes be like, hey, we're getting together for the thing. Yes, let's do it. Okay, well, where's the end of that communication? Hey, yes, I want to get together. Let's do it at 3 p.m. I'll call you there. Let's ride together. Something like that. I'm just saying, when you communicate, you may find that you are the one that drops the ball at the end of things and don't finish out the communication. Or you might be the one who's always wondering, I wonder, did we decide that or not? But if you plan your communication and you have, you've asked for feedback, you could be a fantastic ender of the communication. Well, fantastic, I will see you there. I've got the directions and I'm ready to be there. I'll meet you at 7:29:59, right before the 7:30 meeting. I'm there. Just wrapping it up and making people feel comfortable with what with what the plans are. Also, when you're telling a story, if you're an artist, you're a minister, you're a pastor, and you're saying stuff, you want to make sure people get the right message from the story. You want to wrap it up and bring it to a close and say, and now, every time that I go into a new town, I like to blah blah blah. Check out the cheesesteak at that place. That's my moral lesson. You don't have to have a moral lesson to everything, but just have some kind of planned into a communication. Now, all that to say, this week's Live with Dr. Ken, talking about communication, you don't need to worry about this being so stale and so planned and so boring communication. I didn't plan this. I just turned the phone on and said, I'm going to talk about communication. So I didn't really plan this out super deep. And I want it to come across like this is part of your life. It's not really like, here's the demands. You have to, now sound real official and sound real professional. You do want to sound appropriate to the meeting, appropriately professional. But really, if you just ask for feedback, you're growing. You plan out what you're going to say and how you're going to come across and how you're going to communicate. You'll naturally come across better, even if relaxed. And then if you just think about the ending, even while you're talking right now, I am thinking about the ending of the Live with Dr. Ken session because I didn't plan that out. I have to think about the ending as I'm going through it. So I'm going to review, ask, plan, and end. And I'm going to tell you at the end of this that the reason I'm with you today, Live with Dr. Ken, is because I love sharing some part of this artistic journey. And I think communication is one of the number one places you can really differentiate yourself from others. So this is your opportunity. Everybody, join with me. Check out, the webpage, visible.edu. Check out our Facebook, our Instagram, and all the amazing things happening around Visible Music College. I'm here regularly, Live with Dr. Ken. I'm available at ken@visible.edu. I love to help artists, and let's get our communication better. Ask somebody to give you feedback, plan what you're going to say, and make a perfect ending.